You're listening to Rolling Recklessly, the podcast where dice hit the floor, paint gets spilled, and no game ever goes exactly as planned. I'm Grizzly, and here we dive headfirst into Warhammer, tabletop gaming, and the beautiful mess that is the hobby life. From epic crits to absolute disasters, we'll cover it all. So grab your minis, roll with me, and let's get reckless. Welcome back to Rolling Recklessly, the podcast where we dive into worlds of tabletop gaming, Warhammer, and everything that makes this hobby so endlessly exciting. Today I'm shining a spotlight on one of the most iconic and unique factions in all of Age of Sigmar, the Seraphon. The cosmic lizards, space dinosaurs, starborn warriors carrying out the divine plan of the Old Ones. Whether you've been playing since the world that was, or you're new to the mortal realms, the Seraphon story is one of the richest in the game. Full of ancient gods, starships, and warriors literally spawned from memory. I'll be breaking down their lore, sharing thoughts on the hobby side of collecting and painting these incredible models, and giving some insight on how they feel on the tabletop. Of course, I'll end with my reflections on why they're worth a spot in your collection, or at least on your radar. So grab your dice and let's descend to the heavens like a temple ship blazing through the stars. It's time to talk Seraphon. The Seraphon are one of the most mythically rich factions in all of Age of Sigmar. Their story begins in the world that was, where they served the enigmatic Old Ones, cosmic architects who helped shape reality itself. In many legends, it's said that the Old Ones had a hand in creating and shaping nearly every other race: humans, elves, dwarden, even the orcs, with the sole exception being chaos, the one force that they could not control. That alone sets the Seraphon apart. They are tied directly to making of the universe itself. When the world that was collapsed, the Seraphon endured, carrying with them many of the last fragments of the Old One's great plan, a design for an ordered cosmos. That's why the Seraphon are not just warriors, but executors of a divine mission that spans worlds and ages. At the heart of their saga is Lord Kroak, the oldest and most powerful of the Slan Mage Priest. Kroak technically died during the end times, but his will was so strong and his mission so vital that he endured as a husk upon his throne, channeling magical power beyond comprehension. Kroak is more than a leader. He is a living anchor to the Old One's vision. The Seraphon themselves are not born naturally, but conjured from spawn pools by the memories and will of the Slan. Every Saurus warrior and skink priest is literally a living echo of history. Pulled from ancient battles and reforged anew, this makes them less like the mortals and more like memories given flesh. Soldiers reborn again and again as long as the Slan remember them. In the mortal realms, the Seraphon split into two forms, the celestial Seraphon being beings of starlight and constellations descending from temple ships to smite chaos. And then there's the Coalesced Seraphon, who have chosen to settle in the realms, becoming more primal, savage, and dinosaur-like, while still serving the Great Plan. The Seraphon's impact on the Age of Sigmar storyline is massive. During the Realmgate Wars, when Sigmar unleashed his Stormcast Eternals, the Seraphon were already striking from the heavens. They appeared like falling stars, intervening in battles across Akshi, Ghyran, and Shamon, breaking chaos strongholds and securing vital realm gates. They weren't fighting for conquest or survival. They fought only because the Great Plan demanded it. And then there are truly legendary moments. One of the most dramatic came during the Siege of Excelsius, when the god beast Kragnos threatened to obliterate the city. In an unlikely alliance, Lord Kroak and Morathi combined their cunning to banish him. Through powerful illusion and Kroak's mastery of magic, they lured Kragnos into a trap, teleporting him away and saving Excelsius from total ruin. It's one of the defining examples of Kroak's foresight and the Seraphon's role in as the cosmic arbiters. There are also whispers among lore fans that Kroak has played a subtle hand in shaping the fate of chaos. Some theories suggest that he has actively manipulated rivalries between Archaon and Be'lakor, ensuring chaos never unites fully under one banner. Whether that's true or not, it fits perfectly with the Seraphon's mythic role as the unseen hand of order, pulling strings across eternity. One of the things that makes Seraphon so fun to talk about is how striking their miniatures are on the hobby table. These are not your typical fantasy armies. We're talking dinosaurs with armor, cosmic priests on floating thrones, skink handlers driving lizards into battle, and ancient temple ruins brought to life. From a hobby perspective, the Seraphon give you a ton of freedom. Their designs pull heavily from the Aztec and the Mayans. Geometric patterns, stepped pyramids, sun motifs, bright tropical colors. That means you can go really wild with your paintings. Some players stick to the traditional bright blues and greens, but you'll also see armies done in fiery reds, bone whites, and even color shifting schemes that make them feel alien and starborn. The dinosaurs themselves are the real centerpiece. Carnosaurs, stegodons, bastiodons, huge beasts that dominate the table. Painting them is a challenge but also a joy, balancing naturalistic scales with ornate golden armor. And then there are the skinks and the Saurus warriors, the backbone of the faction, full of character and detail. For me personally, most of my Seraphon are built and mostly primed, but I still have a few exciting kits waiting on the shelf. Lord Kroak, a unit of Agrodon Raptors, Kroxigors, and Raptidon Chargers. I've been holding off on Kroak partly because he feels like such a centerpiece model that I want to save him for last. The next models I'll probably tackle are the Kroxigors, since I love their bulk and their presence on the battlefield. Painting-wise, I'm leaning into the classic Seraphon blue for the scales, but I also want to add another bright, contrasting color to make them pop. Something that really shines against the blue and makes the army feel vibrant on the table. Feel free to reach out and send me a message if you have any suggestions. My absolute favorite model I'm currently working on is the Saurus Old Blood on the Carnosaur. It just captures everything I love about the Seraphon. A hulking dinosaur, covered in ancient armor, charging into battle with the warrior riding on top. It's dramatic, it's fun to paint, and it embodies the Seraphon aesthetic better than most anything else in the range. I mean, come on, dinosaurs riding dinosaurs? What's cooler than that? I'd like to also add that Seraphon bases give hobbyists a lot of fun opportunities as well. Jungle, temple ruins, or even starlit cosmic bases all tie back beautifully into their lore. It's one of those armies where you can get really creative and make them look truly unique on the table. Speaking of on the table, now let's dive into the Seraphon and how they play on it. Both in 4th Full Edition games and in smaller Spearhead formats, I'll also highlight some of my favorite warscrolls, artifacts, and heroic traits. In 4th Edition, Seraphon are all about buffing allies, debuffing enemies, and dominating the magic phases. Summoning is gone in 4th Edition, so the focus is instead on energy and board control. Lord Kroak, a level 3 wizard with celestial deliverance, the famous Kroak Bomb, which can be cast up to 3 times in a turn for a serious mortal wound output. Then you have the Slan Starmaster, another level 3 wizard, powerful for board-wide spellcasting, unbinds, and auras. You also have the Saurus Old Blood on Carnosaur, a melee monster with the chance to eat enemy models outright, flavorful and deadly. Then you have the Saurus Warriors, tough warriors that protect your critical heroes and objectives. Then you have the Astrolith Bear, vital support piece, handing out ward aura that keeps your frontline alive. Before we go too much into warscrolls, let's talk over the great battle plan trait. At deployment, you select an asterism that grants buffs, from stronger attacks to increased resilience. By round 3, if conditions are met, you can unlock a second asterism in a unique mechanic that layers strategy and creates flexibility mid-battle. Some of my favorite warscrolls are the Carnosaur with the Old Blood. He's your heavy hitter and centerpiece threat, especially with that Eda model bite. Then you have Lord Kroak, still one of the most terrifying casters in the game. The Saurus Guard, they're the defensive backbone and hand out a ward to your heroes. You also have the Astrolith Bearer, greatly increases your armor's durability, so when you want your Saurus Warriors to attack, they'll have a ward. Before I touch on the Spearhead, I just want to give a quick shout out to the current General's Handbook, the Scourge of Ghyran. Seraphon picked up a new Carnosaur warscroll along with the monstrous traits and heroic traits. I won't cover all of them here, but I want to highlight that the Carnosaur warscroll is a massive glow up in my opinion. It really brings out the iconic dino into its own, making it even more exciting on the field. Definitely worth checking out if you're a Seraphon player. Now jumping into Spearhead. Seraphon have 2 Spearhead options, each giving a different taste of each of the faction. First you have the Starscale Warhost. That includes the Old Blood on Carnosaur, 3 Kroxigor, and 10 Saurus Warriors. The playstyle is heavy melee, you've got no magic here, so it's all about smashing face. Kroxigor and Carnosaur deal damage while the warriors hold the ground. For the next Spearhead, we have the Sunblood Prowlers. This Spearhead up is made up of 10 Source Warriors, 2 packs of 5 Hunters of Huanchi, 3 Terrorwings, and a spawn of Chotek, along with the Sunblood pack and Venomite tokens. The playstyle for this Spearhead is a little more tactical and faster, with the Sunblood providing strong buffs for your dinosaur units and your Hunters of Huanchi shooting with your ranged attacks, keeping enemies at bay. Definitely feels a lot more like the classic Seraphon combined force of arms compared to the all melee grind of the Starscale. Next thing I want to go over is some of the artifacts and heroic traits that I love. First off, we got the Blood Rage Pendant. It's excellent on the Carnosaur and boosting melee attacks once the bearer takes wounds. Next, we have the Coatl Familiar. Helps push up critical spells through with the bonus to casting rolls. After that, we've got Being of the Stars. It makes your hero ethereal, which is incredible for your survivability. After that, we've got Beastmaster. It grants nearby monsters and cav +2 to move, great for pushing your dinos forward. And last but not least, we have Keeper of the Old Ways, which lets you gain 2 Astericisms in the 3rd round instead of 1, adding a whole new level of flexibility to the playstyle. At the end of the day, Seraphon reward thoughtful, synergistic play. They can dominate through magic and buffs, but they can also bring powerful monsters like the Carnosaur to smash through lines. The 2 Spearheads let you explore different sides of the faction. Starscale for brute melee force, and Sunblood Prowlers for a faster, more balanced approach. Combined with the updates of the Scourge of Ghyran, these feel stronger than ever and full of personality. Looking back at the Seraphon, what makes them special to me is how perfectly their lore and models and playstyle all line up so well. On the lore side, they're one of the deepest armies in Age of Sigmar. They aren't just another faction fighting for land or gods. They're literally carrying out a cosmic plan written before the mortal realms even existed. That gives them a mythic quality that no one else has. On the hobby side, they're vibrant, unique, and fun to paint. From Kroak's floating throne to massive Carnosaurs, there's something for every painter, whether you go with traditional bright blues and greens, or experiment with fiery reds or alien color shifting schemes. They always seem to stand out on the table. On the tabletop side, Seraphon give you a toolbox army. You can lean into magic dominance with Kroak and a Slan, go monster mash with Carnosaurs and Stegodons, or stack buffs with guards and Astroliths. Their flexibility means you can play them in any way that fits your style, whether that's methodical control or smashing face with dinos. Personally, what I love the most is how the army feels like it plays like the way it looks. Ancient spellcasters guiding dinosaurs, shock troops into battle. That's exactly what happens in game. And with the updates from Scourge of Ghyran, the faction feels refreshed and stronger than ever. If you're new to Age of Sigmar, Seraphon are a great entry point because they're visually iconic, lore-rich, and flexible. And if you're already a veteran, they've got depth to keep you engaged for years. So whether you're a collector, painter, lore nerd, or competitive gamer, the Seraphon have something for you. They are, in my eyes, one of the most complete and satisfying armies in Games Workshop has ever made. Alright, that's going to wrap things up for today's dive into the Seraphon. I hope you enjoyed the journey through their lore, their hobby side, and how they play on the table in 4th edition. Before we go, a quick reminder. I'm currently running a giveaway for a box of Nurglings, one of the units that means a lot to me personally, since Nurgle and Slovenet for the first time is me and my girlfriend. To enter, check out the details on my Instagram and make sure you follow along so you don't miss out. If you'd like to connect with me, share your own Warhammer stories, ask questions, or even bring up any concerns, you can reach me at Instagram at rollingrecklesslypodcast or email at rollingrecklesslypodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Who knows, maybe your story will even find its way into a future episode. Thanks again for tuning in, and as always, may your crits be high, your paint never dry, and your rolls ever reckless.